You didn't even go back there.
We'll start with happy detours. Well, once upon a time, there was a little girl who thought she could be anything she wanted to be. She wanted to be a ballerina. She wanted to dance everywhere. She wanted to sing. But you know, things don't always happen as you plan. I had the most wonderful dad in the world. He would give you the shirt off his back. He was such a fine welder, he welded for NASCAR when he wasn't drinking. However, that wasn't very often. So the first happy detour had to take place. And that detour took me to this small little church on South Compton where I fell in love and I found people that cared. And I married Prince Charming. Prince Charming and I discussed what we were going to do regarding finances. I was working at Nettie's and designing things, and he was working at Kmart as a manager, and don't know about you, but that wasn't paying everything we needed. So we decided I would start a direct sales company, unlike the one Bill was talking about. I was one of the youngest promoted directors and executives with this company. Now, this company is not like they are today, where you have 3 people and you're promoted. We worked diligently, very hard. We had a lot of things that we had to scale and overcome to be put in this position. There were very few executives in this company. This was just part of my team, executive team, when I started. Won countless awards, trips, all those good things. However, they hit a dead end. Wasn't anything I did. I'd spent 27 years with them, but that company closed. At this point, I had to decide, was I going this way or was I going this way? But it's time for another happy detour. You see, I had a second plan. I figured, God always makes a way. And I had already started loving and falling in love with the World Wide Web and digital marketing, social media. It was unheard of at that point. So I was an early adapter. So meeting this business coach, Bill Hurston, some of you may know him. Well, great, great guy. And we sat down, and we had been to an event at the Fenton Chamber, and Scott Ginsburg, the name tag guy, was there. And Scott said, you need to be known as the something. Just make sure it's good. So Bill put me under construction. And trust me, I was under construction. So the original Karen, the connector, was formed from that because we went back and forth on what do I do, who am I helping, those kind of things. I was already doing a complimentary leadership for those that had been in direct sales. I loved connecting people, so that's how this was formed. Now, there were times I felt like I could take on the world. Anybody felt like that? I hope you're still feeling that way in business. But then there were other times, what was I thinking? Anybody been there? Till tomorrow, okay? And we know in business there are no rest areas. You cannot sit still or you are going backwards. But you know what happened is I was in an industry that nobody really knew about because I was on the cutting edge. I was ahead of things. So I didn't really have to look for clients because I had it all. I had social media. And would you believe other people started doing social media? What were they thinking? I was Karen the connector. Come on. But when they started doing it, then I didn't have quite as much coming in. So, as we all do, should I just go out and get a job? Don't act like you've never thought about it. But I had choices to make, and obviously, you know which one I made. Also, when I came to that closed exit, I had to back up. Here other people were doing the same thing. What was going to separate me? So I had to start to back up and find out, what am I going to do differently? So I hit another happy detour. I was part of the John Maxwell certification, And I went back many years because with my company, we had spent a lot of time with John before he became so popular. He was still a minister only at that time. I have to tell you, the first time I heard John Maxwell speak, he said, well, we're going to talk about Jim, John, and Pete. And I thought, I've never heard of them at home office. Of course, it was Peter, James, and John he was referring to. Then I, of course, became part of the Game Changers with Lethea Owens, one of the top branding experts in the world, in the top 30. And she became my mentor, and then I became part of her certification program. And now I have the opportunity to do her blueprint marketing and move from there. And then what happens? We have to rebrand, right? The green little connector cord just didn't work anymore, did it? So moving along, and another happy detour. I don't know about you, but my life is so much better because of these people. That's my mastermind. You can look around this room and you can see who's here. We've got Tiffany, Kathy, Laurie, Thad, Dale, and I must tell you, the distinguished guy on the end, Dale, he stays on my case. Just so you know. This is kind of how Dale put it. Time to step it up, step into my brilliance and my gifts. In other words, quit playing around with it. Do what you're good at. So I had to stop, listen. Sometimes that's hard. And if you don't have a mastermind that tells you how it really is, you're in the wrong mastermind. But Dale said, why do you keep trying to divorce what you know so well? You were in the top 3% of your company. You're a top recruiter. You worked with people. You built teams. Why do you keep divorcing that? But it was part of my past, and it wasn't so happy. I thought I would retire from that company. So he said, put that marketing and sales together, blend it, become the hybrid, and do what people need. Quit shying away from that. And do you know, without that great expertise from my mastermind, I could have been going the wrong way. I think E4E calls it don't fly alone. Don't you think? Okay, then another happy detour happened. And again, who do you think was on my case? Yes, it was Dale. He said, so we're talking in a mastermind event, and he said, so what results did you get for these people that you were working with? And so we were doing team building, and I said, well, you know, I worked with them over 2 years. This last client I worked with 2 years. I said, but we took them from making $30,000 in their business to $250,000. He said, that's the results people are looking for. That's what you need to talk about. And I'd always been one that shied away of saying anything about money and what results I could get for you. I knew what I could do for you because I was good at what I did. But I wasn't good at telling you what I could do for you. So we moved on, and we looked at an avenue that I was very comfortable with, and I loved being a part of it because I loved building people. I was passionate about that. So we moved into a women in direct sales division with my company, and it's working with the women in direct sales. And why do I do that, and why do I love that? Because it builds confidence in them. It lets them see themselves differently. It makes a better life at home. There's so many things that go into that. It's not just the money. The money is a byproduct. It's all of that personal development and things that go into that. On Facebook, I have a Women of Faith and Sales group, and that's just, if you want a little bit of faith, a little bit of business, and a whole lot of encouragement, that's where you'll hang out. Now, the key to my success was not me. The key to my success was not all my education and certifications. But I think the key to my success is where I put my faith, and thankful for the people that God has put in my path to make me so much brighter and do so much more. So, because of my mastermind, I have learned to put my heels on, put those shades on, don't worry what other people are thinking, and make it a happy detour. Let's have a happy detours for you.